Welcome, students. We are thrilled to have you here. It is wonderful to see everybody out in festive. Who is ready for the end of the school year? How many of you are graduating in a couple weeks? Woohoo! Excellent. Well, we are thrilled to have you here. Welcome to the 2023 Youth Security Forum. My name is Maureen McCarthy. I am the Director of Programs for the National Security Forum, and I am going to be your Master of Ceremonies for today. Our program this year, Civil Discourse to Strengthen National Security. And we are really thrilled to have everybody engaged in this because it's a really important topic right now. We're very grateful to our partners, obviously the National Security Forum, the Washoe County School District, and our partners at Braver Angels. So you will get to meet some of them as we go along. So as I mentioned, I am Maureen McCarthy and I will be emceeing. So again, if there are issues or anything, wave at me if you have a question. Dr. Jeff Alexander will be joining us momentarily. So as soon as he comes, we'll stop the program so he can give a welcome to TMCC. But in the interim, TMCC folks, can you wave back there? There's a table for those of you who are interested or have know people who are interested potentially in TMCC. There's a resource table over in the corner. They'll be here through the lunch break so you can get information about them. And we will go ahead and start by our first announcement. Free yourselves of your electronic leashes. Put down your phones. The purpose of today is that you talk to each other in real voices. So no phones, no electronics, no doing your, you do not need to do research and homework for these assignments right now. Now is the chance to have your conversations together. That includes facilitators. Keep electronics off. So we will have Dr. Alexander here momentarily, but to welcome us to this event.
Hello everyone, this is U.S. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. I am so pleased that you're all taking part in the Youth Security Forum and learning about what's going on in the world around us. Our national security depends on our ability to coordinate with our allies and communicate effectively with other countries. You are the future of Nevada and this country. That's why it's so important that you are here today to engage in productive, respectful discussions about the issues affecting our nation and others around the world. I want to thank the National Security Forum and the Washoe County School District for pulling this event together and ensuring you all have an informative, rewarding day today. I hope you come away from this experience with an even better understanding of the importance of civil discourse to our national security. Enjoy your day.
So the senator's office actually reached out to me and said when the senator heard about this event, she was so excited to hear that it was taking place that she wanted to make sure she gave a personal welcome. And as much as we would have liked to have had her here in person, it's a little hard to schedule, but I hope you felt welcomed by her because this is a really important issue for our public officials in Washington, and we're really grateful that you're taking the time to really engage in this. So thank you to our sponsors. We have a long list of sponsors, and for the students, you'll be very pleased to know that the sponsors bought you lunch, so which will be arriving soon. So we have a long list of sponsors who we're very grateful for really contributing and making this event happen. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kevin Schaller, President of the National Security Forum Board of Directors.
There we are. Good morning. Sure, great to see all of you here. I'm going to start off really quickly. Marshall Mason, can you stand up for us? Marshall is our facilitator from Braver Angels, and we really appreciate all the efforts that you've put forth to help us get this thing together, and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I'd also like to point out the board members from the National Security Forum. Please stand when I call your names. Susan Malone, Jim Bradshaw, Skip Hansen, Ron Codd, Matt Bueller, Tyler Smith, and Dan LaFrenz. Some of them cannot be here today because they're being called upon to work. Thank you very much. I appreciate you volunteering your efforts. They put a lot behind this. I just have a couple thoughts I wanted to share, and I really appreciate Truckee Meadows Community College helping put this together for us, and of course Washoe County School District for putting this all together on their side of things and supporting with substitute teachers and all those. I just want to plant these couple of seeds that come from our history. A great teacher once spoke that every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Sometime later, Abraham Lincoln invoked similar language in the context of the vehement slavery debate before the Civil War in this nation. Your engagement today is a major step in bringing civil discourse to the polarization in this country. You are the leaders of our future, and seeing you gathered here brings me great hope. Take the lessons today and encourage others to be patriots as well, because you are patriots. Thank you for the support of all of our volunteers here, and on behalf of the National Security Forum, we hope you find this a wonderful and productive conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Washoe County teachers and facilitators, administrators, can you guys just come up? Because I'd like everybody to see who is contributing, who the teachers are that are really making a difference. Come on, move, let's go. So I just want everybody to know that the teachers in the school district are making a huge difference, and it is our honor in the National Security Forum to be able to partner with the school district and honor the work that you are doing to help facilitate the next generation of national security leaders, informed citizens, and just great and wonderful people. So I have a little thank you gift. It's a book on civil discourse in the classroom. Thank you. So, students, big round of applause for your teachers. Excellent. Thank you very much for making this happen. We're very grateful, and we hope we have a great discussion. Thank you. Thank you for the book. You bet. And you will see that on the table, there are bookmarks for everybody. Those are from Braver Angels, and it's a little red-blue flip-over thing, so it gives you some ideas to think about as you're reading in the future. I'm going to start with a little storyline. This is how I want you to think about where you are today and the discussions that you're going to have for the next few hours. So how many of you are headed off to college soon? Okay. So those of you who are headed off to college, those of you who may be thinking about it in the future, close your eyes and imagine you're walking across the quad at your university. It's a beautiful, gorgeous fall day. It's a few weeks before the upcoming election. And there are a bunch of students sitting out on the quad, and they're having a really heated discussion. So you kind of will saunter up and you walk over and you start to listen from the outskirts of the conversation, and they're arguing, and they're kind of being a little nasty to each other. And what they're arguing about is, what's the most important issue for the upcoming election? Why should I vote? Why should I care? What are the issues that matter? And somebody says it's going to war, it's national security. What happens if we get drafted? What if we go to war? And somebody says, I don't even know what national security is, and then there's a nasty exchange, and then somebody's yelling about economic issues, and I'm never going to get a job, and you're just wandering up, having gone through some good Braver Angels civil discourse training, and you're thinking, I just want to be part of this conversation. I want to listen to what's being said. I want to engage in this discussion, and I want to take some of the heat out. I want to take the temperature down so that we can have a respectful discussion about these matters. I don't just want to turn my shoulders and say, oh my gosh, that's too painful. I don't want to be part of that. I want to show that there's a way that we as young folks in the world can talk about these issues in constructive ways, and that we're not screaming and yelling at each other. So that's the stage setter for today. So as you go into these discussions, you're going to be talking to your fellow students. Your facilitators are just there to keep the conversation going, to get you familiar with each other. Most of you are already trained in talking and engaging. We the People folks, how many We the People folks in here? Okay, so great. This is not quite We the People. You do not have to win this argument, right? You just have to keep the conversation going. You do not have to be right. You do not have to prove a point. You are not fighting in a court of law. You're talking to fellow students on the quad on a beautiful fall day. So with that, many of you have been through the fundamental core values of what we mean by civil conversations. This comes to us from our partners at Braver Angels. Listening is the first thing. That's often the hardest thing, and I can tell you as an adult, it's been many decades of trying to learn to listen. But listen not only to what people are saying, but hear their frustration in their voice. Hear their emotional attachment to the issue. Recognize it. Don't just listen to the words. Listen to how they're engaging in the issue. Acknowledge that people have a point of view. You don't have to agree with them, but acknowledge they have a point of view, and they even may have an attachment to that point of view. I understand I'm angry about that kind of an issue. You may not agree on what the solution is, but you can acknowledge people's emotional attachment to a position. This isn't just, spouting facts back and forth to each other. Learn how to pivot conversations with, why this topic is critically important to you personally, not just to the country, but to you personally. And if you disagree or you agree with their perspectives, give them acknowledgement about that. I understand where you're coming from. Let me tell you about some things that I've been reading, or let me tell you about something my teacher in high school taught me when I was in Youth Security Forum back years ago. And do that and sort of ask permission to share your perspective. Then you can have perspective given that hopefully is done in a depolarizing way. That means you're not adding on, piling on to the anger or the emotional situation that's there. Marshall, did I miss anything? Listen for values. Listen for what people really value in their discussion. Where are they coming from? What are the things that are important to them? And acknowledge that they have values. They may be very different from your own. But listen for what their values are and try and be respectful of their value set. Okay, so that's how we engage in the discussion. And with that, we are very pleased to have Dr. Jeffrey Alexander, Vice President for TMCC, join us.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be with you, and thank you for being with us today. Truckee Meadows Community College is very pleased to welcome you. I'm here to issue a welcome on behalf of President Karen Hilgersom, who sadly could not join us today, but she sends her very best. And I want to share a few of the items that I hope will pertain to your group here and your meeting and the great work that you're doing regarding national security. Here at TMCC, we take that very seriously. We have a wide range of programs that contribute to a lot of these professional careers. And some of them range, from one division to another, really. They span the college. First of all, when we think about national security, we often think about response, and we think about actions, sometimes military actions. We know that those folks talk about strategy and tactics, but they mostly talk about logistics. For that reason here, we have a very robust program in logistics, a Bachelor of Applied Science in Logistics, which is a real feather in our cap and something that is a valuable field. People who earn credentials in logistics or have career and training experience in that field can wind up working for firms like Amazon and others and doing extraordinarily well for themselves over time, but also benefiting national security too. Cybersecurity, as you know, is a valid and important program, and we have a host of programs that lead to that as well. Really, it begins with programming and programming languages. And so that's something that we endeavor to provide and ensure that our students can master. And of course, it's difficult to have national security when things are on fire, quite literally on fire, as we saw in the last few years. There have been a tremendous number of very large and complex fires here in the West and the Northwest. In fact, even north of the border in British Columbia, fires are raging right now. And so fire science is critical. Fire science is a big arena for us in terms of training. And wildland fire is especially valuable as well. So we have programs that aim to stand that up, and we have high hopes of developing a fire science training facility here at TMCC at our Redfield campus, including a fire tower for training on site and a facility where conferences can take place, making it a regional fire training center for the Northwest of the United States. So we're really excited about that. And we also have high hopes of a federal appropriation to help us with that project, and we look forward to some good news there soon. Of course, it's difficult to be prepared for an outbreak or an emergency if you don't have a well-trained allied health and healthcare team, and we certainly here at TMCC know this well. We have, of course, nursing programs and a whole range of allied health programs that get students in the door and into a professional health career, because we can't be prepared to stand up to the next pandemic or the next emergency of some sort involving healthcare or response to a major natural disaster if we don't have trained people who are ready, who have done that fantastic clinical work and have been to some of these scenes and sites along the way. And finally, advanced manufacturing is one of the feathers in our cap as well. Our Edison campus down near the Reno airport is an advanced technology program. Often we think about manufacturing, we think about a sort of ancient, sort of factory-oriented kind of environment, and it is that no more. Advanced manufacturing is very state-of-the-art, highly specialized, clean rooms, a lot of computer-assisted development and manufacturing technologies, and our teams are there to help students train to produce precision parts and high-tech equipment for manufacturers large and small. So these are just some of the ways that TMCC endeavors to produce a highly skilled, well-trained workforce, and of course culminating very often in our Bachelor of Applied Science in Emergency Management and Homeland Security, which is a fantastic program, and it too is something that we hope will contribute to national security broadly and provide avenues for all of you should you wish to pursue a career in any of those fields. We're really excited to have you here today. We want you to know that you are absolutely the future for this part of the country and for many of these career fields. We look forward to welcoming you in the future if you should choose to join us, or wherever you choose to go. We want you to be very successful. So I want to certainly encourage you here today to think about some of those pathways, and I hope that this is a formative experience and that you enjoy yourselves. And welcome to TMCC. Thanks very much for having me, and good luck today.